All right. It's your first session of the intensive.
Yeah.
What have you been your thoughts about getting this started, or what are yeah?
Yeah. I'm feeling like it is really timely. I have just found a new therapist to be working with, and we're doing some somatic work. So that's getting me like deeper in my body. And the thing that really prompted me to kind of like start this whole journey is really recognizing that this is likely like the most safe that I have, quote unquote, felt. Like I have safety reflected all around me. I have financial stability. I feel pretty settled here, and yet my nervous system won't let me sit in it.
Mm-hmm.
It just wants me to keep finding something to go wrong, and it's just like preparing and honestly bracing. Yeah, bracing is the right word to describe what my body is doing. Like I can feel the tension throughout the day that I have to like let go of because it is just expecting me to have to fight something off or flee or something, and it just logically doesn't make sense. um, and I don't think that my nervous system like really wants to like just settle into this safety. And so we're teaching me, like my actual brain and my physical body, that like we can breathe, like it's okay. And this is going to stay, but also it's impermanent. Like I know that this isn't going to be like this forever. And so why can't I just like stay present and allow the safety to completely take over for right now?
Take a smell.
Mm.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've reached a place where you're like, okay, all the outside things are telling me I'm safe. All the outside things are like I'm in a good spot, and yet the habits and patterns that are here that you've lived with for so long are like coming up in a really like it's like this is happening.
Is the best way because it feels like there are times throughout my day that like my body is like yelling at me. So I'm suffering from some tension headaches. I call them overstimulation headaches because I can feel whenever I'm either doing too much too fast or there's too many sensory inputs in that I like my nervous system is already like here, and so adding just a few more senses is like putting me over the edge. So my capacity for tolerance is a lot lower than it has been. So I know I'm like at a more acute stage right now than I have been in the past. So I am working to try to calm that and doing it from multiple avenues. So like there's some like gentle yoga, there's breath work, there's therapy, there's this, and just also allowing for people to like come in and nourish me because
Yeah.
I got to the part of my chronic illness recovery journey where I was like, oh, like I'm good. I can do most of these things on my own. I've been doing this for years. I know my body. And I took on that like martyr syndrome of like I need to do all of it on my own, which is very reminiscent of how I felt as a kid. And allowing myself to open up again and say like, no, I can have a team of people that are here to support me and nourish me and help guide me back to safety, and like that's okay. That's what I'm supposed to be doing during the season. So
What do you imagine opening up again looks like for you?
opening up, I think opening up to the idea, honestly, of dreaming again, a possibility of expanding. Like I think I've been going through like contractions and expansions, and every expansion almost feels like a false start because then comes the contraction, which as I say that out loud, like intellectually, I'm like, well, duh, like of course that's going to happen throughout life. But this one just feels different. This feels like I'm ready to go into the really deeper parts of myself and see where those limiting beliefs began, where the stories that my body knows but my mind doesn't know live, And how can I, instead of pushing, just bear witness to it and just allow and just nurture? Because I think I've had this like Mrs. Fix-It ingrained in me in all aspects of life, but especially on myself when, my body just broke down. I was like, oh, I need to fix this. Every new health challenge or every new symptom was a thing that I needed to fix. And now I feel like I can invite in softness and gentleness and know that I have the reserves to navigate whatever it is that I need.
Beautiful. In your dreaming, that, like, how does that feel? It's gonna, like, you leaning into that. How do you feel that's gonna serve you and help you?
I think metaphorically, it is metaphorically, it's that shift from survival mode to thriving. Like I have been grinding the day to day, the week to week, the month to month, to finally have the capacity to invite in and have more space for new things, for extra things, for things that bring me joy and happiness and fulfillment in ways that I just didn't have access to before, because I was too worried about just not being in pain from moment to moment, or hour to hour, and whether that's physical pain or emotional pain. So yeah, I don't even know if that answers your question. I even forgot what your question was.
How do you imagine dreaming will serve you?
I think dreaming will serve me in allowing me to choose me for, I think, the first time probably in my life. Like this last year has really been a year that I showed up for myself, and like I caught myself because I wanted to say and stop showing up for other people, but I was still showing up for them. I was just showing up for myself at the same rate or more. Like I put myself and my needs first, which allowed me like a much better capacity and presence to be able to show up for other people. But feels like a moment where I get to build something, and that something is like build a life that is sustainable for my body with these like new realities, new limitations, but also like I believe I can still make a fulfilled life with those in my current state. And I also think dreaming will allow me the ability to open up and start serving other people in ways that I probably have not really even allowed myself to dream of and to get there. I think it comes back to a part of my chronic illness recovery journey, which was I was sitting or I would be laying down on a table, and it's called EECP cardiac therapy. It's for people who had cardiac arrest or a heart attack. And they basically put like blood pressure cuffs from your stomach all the way down, and it's pumping blood back to your heart and to your brain. And for some reason, I was in so much pain. Like I would cry during every single one of them. I couldn't walk to my car by myself afterwards. And everybody around me is probably like twice my age because they had had a heart attack. And none of them were in this much pain. And I was like, why me? Why is this happening to me? And I just kept repeating the mantra of like, this is happening for me, not to me, for me, not to me. And I feel like dreaming is allowing me to finally step into that. This is happening, and this happened for me to also serve other people who are going through a similar experience. So I think I have to heal myself, and I have to focus on myself in order to create space and capacity to be able to do that for other people.
Yeah. It feels like you were using dreaming as like almost like a way of playing through hard things.
Yeah. And it feels also right that I'm just finishing up some parts therapy too, and going back to childhood. And childhood didn't really have a lot of space to dream, and to be childlike and have that childlike sense of wonder and play. And and so I've been able to go back to those parts of myself and like give those parts what it is that I needed. And I think this is just another layer of it, another piece of it.
Yeah. it's this idea of like you're now taking the what play actually functionally gets like make believe. Like make believe allows us to explore so much more to find what resonates with us. And you're in a place in life where you're like, oh, like it was so rigid and so structured, and now you're like, what do I want? What can I want? What happens if I explore this and play with it and pretend? You know, like use pretend as a way to like shift reality and dance with your reality and play with your reality, because that's how we learn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all experiential. Thank you.
What do you think of the tea?
Oh my God, it's so good. I love it. It's so fruity. This is fruity and fun.
It is fruity and fun.
This feels playful. It's even colored.
I know. They're like, it has like hibiscus, and I think it's got like a lemon. It's got like you know, there's so many plants that have lemon in the name.
Yeah.
There aren't even a lemon. You're like, it's lemongrass. You're like, there's no lemon anywhere near that thing. On that grass. I'm not seeing a lemon on there.
Oh, it's so delicious.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good one.
Yeah, I love that this is how we start. Like,
Yeah.
it's like such a grounding ritual.
And part of it is just like, these may seem a little bit like interview questions, but they're really about helping you explore your own thought processes.
Yeah.
Because these are like, I come with intentional questions. Like the intentional questions I'm looking for is like, where have you not thought through your own thought process?
I'm sure so many places.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing I need an objective party to be able to help me.
Yeah. Because when we do that, it's just like, you know, I've noticed in certain interactions, like there's this desire to want to label it or prescribe or do this thing. And there is a place for information. I do give information, but there's this really deep place of just exploring, like have you thought about that thing? And then you lean into it, because that's where people like really start to, that's where you're going to really start to tune into your own voice. Is by like, okay, when that question comes up, what do I generate? What do I create? It's like as you things, it's like, okay, like, because as I'm listening to you, I'm listening to like thriving, like things that you didn't allow yourself to do or experience because of the pain. Like, what are those things that you are now calling in and wanting?
I think it means, you know, tactically. It's interesting. My mind goes here first.
To the tactical?
Uh-huh.
You're like, are you going to put some like, you know, get a little of the camo on your face?
Let's go. I'm like,
we're
no.
tactical in there. Where to go? We got a plan around the corner. Team, alpha team.
I hope not. I feel like I've been battling the last 5 years, so let's not battle anymore. I'll use a different word. I think, you know, the thing that my mind first goes to is like continuing to be able to release some of the structure and some of the things that made me get by health-wise. Like, because when I get to release those, I have more time, more mental space, more energy, more funds, because that was a thing of where do I want to expend these resources now that were once going to something that was just getting me by. And then there's another piece of it that feels like I think this year is trying stuff on for size. Like, I want to throw spaghetti on a wall like a kid and see what sticks. And I don't think that I've really even allowed myself time to do that. I have things that I know I want to do for myself, like build a business to help other people, build a coaching program and a wellness space for people with autoimmunity. And I'd like to be able to lean into other skills that I didn't feel like I had the capacity to do, like actually teach yoga regularly. Like, I've only been doing workshops because I felt like my cognition couldn't keep up with keeping sequence. I couldn't have that short-term memory, was not accessible to me. And overstimulation of so many people's energy that I was responsible for, and breath work too, like these things that have been such critical pillars of my own healing journey and beginning to feel like I have the capacity to give that to others on a more regular basis than I've had. And
More regular seemed it seemed to be the juicy one.
yeah, because I think I try not to say like I can't or I don't have access to that. It's just I don't have access to that thing regularly, not yet, not right now. But I know I will be, because there was a time that I never thought I would have access to it at all.
So the consistency has been kind of like one of the things that you've been with the chronic pain, and the energy, like, because it messes with your energy, messes with your focus, like that has got in the way of you being able to give as much as you're like, like give as in like give to other people, but also give to projects, things you want to create. Like all of that has been like, inhibited.
Totally. And consistency is an interesting word, because I've been on this long COVID and POTS and chronic fatigue and pain journey. And one of the really important parts of that is energy conservation, and like being able to have a consistent way to modulate energy or pain throughout the day. And it's a yo-yo. Like, I'm just now getting to the point where it doesn't really swing as hard, and I can usually catch it before it swings the other way, which is nice. But it's still an active choices that I make every day throughout the day to make sure that I stay in a healthy green mode, a green mode, go mode. And that's effortful to like still throughout every day. I make so many decisions that most people would have no idea. And it's to maintain that consistent source of energy, of capacity, of ability.
You're driving a car and having to constantly look at your gas tank more than other people. Like a lot of your focus is like, is it empty or full, or where we are? Like that gas tank or the RPMs. Like you got to be like, okay, I really got to watch this, because it's going to affect your gas tank. And
yeah, that's exactly right. And let's also throw in, like, I'm looking at that gas tank I'm looking at the, I can't even think of the word. What's the thing that says empty to full?
That's your gas tank gauge.
The gas tank gauge.
That's your gas, the gauge. Yeah.
Gauge, that's the word.
Yeah.
So it's like having a gas tank gauge that also doesn't work. Like, I'm looking at it all the time and it's faulty. Like some days it might work and some days it might not work.
Oh.
So it's like a guessing game. But I don't know.
What you're telling me is like there'll be times when you have this like you'll be fine, and then other times where you'll hit a cliff, where you'll be like, I'm feeling great, and then you're like, I'm not feeling great.
Oh, this is probably like the real reason why I'm here. Is I get to a place where I have more capacity. So I go, and my body's not sending me signals to slow down or that it's in pain. Mine always happen after. So my form of the like flare symptoms happens usually many days after like an event or a big day of many things, or a big week of having to do many things. My body will usually crash afterwards. It has a lag period. So it's really hard for me in the moment to know, am I safe? And so every time that happens, I think, oh, I'm past this stage of my journey. And there's also, whenever I'm in the moment and things are good, that fear that like, oh, I know where this could go. I know where this is likely going. I know I've been there before. And it's that full body shutdown that takes weeks to come back from. And my body remembers that fear and remembers what that felt like.
And that's one of the biggest things I would say this work does. Like the light, the myofascial, it's all about regrowing that awareness, because awareness has grown. It's a learned skill. You look at an infant, they're like, oh, that's a hand, that's a foot. Like they discover their own parts of their body. And so our ability to feel and have control over our own physiology is directly connected. So you're like, and that comes from, as you said, like all the stress, all the disassociation that disconnects us from the felt sense of our body. the fancy words interoception. But yeah, it's kind of like our ability to like understand or hear what's happening in our body. Like, am I hungry? Am I full? Am I tired? Do I need sleep? Am I thirsty for something? Like, we build that awareness over time. So I can tell when I'm thirsty for water, and I can now tell when I'm thirsty for water that I need minerals. Like, oh, I'm mineral deprived. But that awareness, I grew that awareness because I was just like, okay, why am I off? What's going on? And then when I had the satisfaction of like, oh, I feel so much better when I have this water that's got minerals in it, and my energy's back and my shifting. So we build. So like part of it is part of this is like this discovery and listening, and like even just being able to hear the raw input. Because like part of the raw input is it oftentimes people feel pain or overwhelmed because it's like it's two things. It's shifted toward pain, and it is confusing because people haven't learned how to interpret it. You have to interpret the signals. Like, okay, there's a signal. It's just like, okay, there's this red octagon. What does the red octagon mean? Like, it's a red octagon that's got some letters on it. What does that even mean? But like, we've learned to interpret that as a stop sign. That's a stop sign. Like, but that's not inherently like, we've learned that it means this. We've made an association. Like we've evolved when the sun comes up, like, oh, a little bit of cortisol gets pumped in your system. It's time to wake up, do stuff. Like, oh, when the sun goes down, like the melatonin kicks in. Like, we have created and evolved because of this. And when we tune into that level of connection with ourselves, then we can have a much clearer understanding of like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm hungry for like a mineral dense, or I'm hungry for meat, or I'm hungry for this vegetable. Because our body has urges and yearnings for specific, when it comes to food. This is the food example. Like, oh, I'm yearning for this specific type of food because the body needs what's in that food.
Yeah.
And then that's also true with like, we have a physiological urge to play. And so if you diminish that or ignore that urge to play, then that's the body's like, hey, we need this. Like, we have evolved as humans to have a biological need for play, and a biological need for certain foods, and a biological need for connection.
Totally.
And so when things, what's like, why do I feel so much shame in these situations? Well, shame is a trigger for, hey, there's something wrong with our connections. And so when we're able to understand these cues and how they relate to our environment, it's like, oh, then we can have the proper behavior. So it becomes, so awareness is really this learning curve of, you learn to focus on something, then you learn to do that, recognize, interpret, and then you can have the proper action. And each of those are developed and grown.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Yes.
How does the light therapy help do that?
Because
what is its role?
Your ability to hear your body is inhibited when you're in a sympathetic state. It's like it's cutting the aperture off. It's disconnecting, and literally blood flow is shifted out of the area. So when you're in a parasympathetic, your blood is in your organs. It's in the digest and rest and recover areas. So it's in that, and the whole body is in kind of a repair mode. So you have much more awareness of your body. Like, your whole body you're more aware of when you're in a more parasympathetic state. If you shifted to that, it moves the blood into the exterior. It moves your focus to the exterior environment. So exterior as opposed to interior. And so being able to shift back and forth is great, but if you're stuck in an exterior thing all the time, it's going to be depleting to the body. And it's going to lead to this disassociation, disconnection from the body, and then it's going to mess with the ability for that part of the body to function. Because the cues, there's not cues, we're missing cues, like cues have to be extremely loud in order for us to listen to them. Oh, it's like, you don't feel hungry until you feel hungry. You don't feel like you've gone too far until you've gone too far. So it takes really loud signals in order for the body, because the body has shifted its focus to the exterior world. And so when we are able to parasympathetically shift, it helps the body be like, oh. And then also the light triggers that dream state. It brings us into that dream state. It releases certain chemicals in the brain that really help us learn and grow and expand and play with stuff. It's like, oh, like, and even in the way it visually is and experientially, it's playing with those different areas that allow you to dream and explore and move and have that mind-body connection that's in a way that isn't in the survivalistic state, that pushes us to this deep level of disconnection. We want to have a deep level of connection. And so that's where these tools come in, because they allow the space, they shift the nervous system into that place. And they also just help that kind of process of play of like, oh, we're taking inputs, and what do these input means, and how does it flow, and allowing just a place of calm.
It's definitely not lost on me that one of the things that I said was, oh, I like want to be able to dream again.
Yeah.
And now we're about to do light therapy where I'm going to be put in a dream state.
All right, you ready to get into today's light thing? So we're on session. Well, we did the last session, which is my intro, and then we're going to do today's session, which I do a full sound bath for the whole time.
Oh, that's so
So
lovely.
it's sound bath with the light. Yeah.
You want to know something super fun?
What?
I just had a dream last night that I was like, oh, I need a sound bath. Like I woke up to having sound bowls playing. I was like, oh, okay, here. Sound is so healing, and that's exactly what I was calling in last night when I went to sleep. So let's get started.
Let's do this.